Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Maya Louisa, and today I thought it'd be really special to share with you my story with burnout, how I overcame burnout, and what I do to prevent it from ever happening again. So let me define what burnout is so that you're very clear. Burnout is a state of complete mental, physical, emotional exhaustion. So for me, this is 2013. So at the time of the recording of this video, that is 10 years ago. So it's been 10 years that I've been studying feminine energy and learning the energetics of how to be in the body, and we'll get to all of that. So take you back to 2013. 2013, I was working 2 jobs. So off the bat, completely in my masculine energy, completely wrapped all up in hustle culture. You know, I'm from New York, like the city doesn't sleep. I definitely wasn't sleeping. So just hustling, working really hard. During the day, I was teaching dance in a hospital for children. And then in the evenings, I was teaching dance in a sports club. So I would work all day, come home, take a break, jump on the train, and work some more. It was a schedule that to me now is like insanity. But back then I didn't know any other way. So I was working and I would be teaching one day. I was teaching during the day, and at the time, it was a very busy time in my life. I was launching my first business, which is my jewelry business called Kolé Jewel. You can still get the waist beads. I was launching it. I was doing this big launch at this beautiful space in Brooklyn, and they were opening for the first time with my company. So they were like premiering their space, and I was premiering the launch of my business. I hired my friend who's a beautiful belly dancer. I had DJ, I had entertainment, I had food. I had to get all of these things together. So I'm doing this big launch for my business, my baby, my first business. And at the same time, working 2 jobs. And at the same time, I was caring for my stepmother who was very ill. She was dying in the hospital. So what I was doing was I was working all day, teaching in the children's hospital. Then I would drive to visit my stepmother in a hospital and sing to her and care for her and check in with her and all of those things. And then I would change my clothes and go teach dance for some more hours. And then I would get home and continue working on my business and continue working on the launch of my business, which was very important to me. So as you can imagine, it was even thinking about it, even saying it, it's exhausting. I had no help in terms of like delegating things to people. I was taking it all on for myself, very much in just go mode. I was not eating properly. I was not sleeping properly and completely disengaged from my body, not listening to her, not honoring her, just going. Even though I was teaching dance, I was teaching as a teacher, you're the leader. So I wasn't even in my pleasure, in that I wasn't dancing for me, enjoying the movements. I was sharing my joy with others. I was leading. I was doing the choreographing. I was teaching. I was amping everyone else up, while inside I was exhausted. So on a particular day, I'll never forget, it was, I believe, the week before. So I launched on a Saturday. This is the Monday before. I went to work at the hospital, and then I drove to visit my stepmother, who was very, very ill. And several days later, she actually transitioned. She passed away actually the day after I launched my business, had my business launch. So this was like the week leading up to that. I went to visit her in the hospital. I sang to her, just made sure she was comfortable. And then I went and I taught my dance classes, right? So at the end of the dance class, I was so depleted. I was so exhausted. I was so malnourished. I'm standing and talking to my clients at the end of the class, and I just fell and fainted. Right there in the dance studio, collapsed. And so I will never forget that moment because my body just clocked out. And that was like, of course, the spark that really, really fueled me to make these changes in my life, to really look at my life, to look at what I was creating and to look at what my body was telling me. And I was like, I need to do some major changes because I never want that to happen again. Not only was I, at the time I was really embarrassed to be fainting in front of my clients. Obviously, they love me, like these are like, those clients that are just like family and friends, like those are my girls. So at this moment, I don't feel embarrassed, but it was a huge wake-up call. I was like, I never want this to happen again. What can I do? What have I been doing? And then what can I do to change? It was a huge wake-up call, literally a smack in the face. Literally, my body was like, no, girl, no more. So, that week, I kept kind of pushing through, but easing and taking my time, doing a little bit less. I launched my business. It was a beautiful launch. We had belly dancers. We were dancing. We had like a fire ceremony. It was beautiful. And then again, the next day, my stepmother transitioned. And that is when I really began to look at life differently, seeing that there's a sweetness to life, that I was only tasting the bitter. I was only tasting the to-do list. I was only tasting and looking for results and hustling and not even enjoying my food, not enjoying my life, not enjoying and being present with my family. So the combination of those two is what really, really sparked me to start learning about energy and learning about the energy of the universe and learning about feminine energy and masculine energy. And so as a New York girl, I was so in my masculine, and I love my masculine energy. Like, don't get me wrong, I love masculine energy, period. I love my masculine energy, but our body as feminine essence being is not supposed to be living in that hustle culture. Our bodies are designed to live and swim in our feminine essence and to live and swim in our feminine hormones for the majority of the time. We do have masculine and feminine energy. Everyone has both, but we're not supposed to be staying there. That's not our resting place. That's a place where we go when we need to activate, and then we come back to more of a feminine essence. So I want to share with you some things that you can implement to prevent yourself from ever going through what I went through, which was complete and total burnout. The first thing is, I wrote this down so I wouldn't forget any of these tips, is to actually change your nervous system. So this takes time, but you might have lived so much of your life because we're cultivated, we're groomed to be more in our masculine, we're groomed to be more in like this hustle, doing energy, that your body literally doesn't know how to rest. She literally doesn't know how to receive. If you can't sit in a space without thinking of, I should do this, I have to do that, and the to-do is just going, then you have to do these subtle things to change your nervous system, to reset your nervous system. Things that can help you are a meditation practice, a yoga practice, some forms of martial arts, and dance. These are just examples of different things that you can do with your body and with your breath to really reset your nervous system. Tip number 2 is to prevent burnout, is to prioritize pleasure. How many of you listening to the sound of my voice right now feel guilty when you plan pleasure? When you say, you know what, instead of doing this, I'm gonna go do something for fun. You know what, instead of doing what I should do, I'm actually gonna sit back and rest. How many of you feel guilty sometimes? So to prevent burnout, I want you to really, really prioritize pleasure. Your pleasure is your birthright. And it's okay. And it's actually really, really beneficial for not only for yourself and everyone around you, for you to prioritize your pleasure. Because the more that you fill up your cup, the more that your family gets to benefit from that overflow, from that juicy energy, from all of that you're filled up with. They become blessed by it. Because now you're a feminine energy being with a full cup. Feminine energy is the energy of a cup. It's the cup consciousness, and masculine energy is the arrow. We'll get more into that in another video, but I just want you to know that prioritizing your pleasure is essential. And in order to prioritize your pleasure, the next tip, I guess this is tip number 3, is to get into your body. So to even acknowledge or even seek out what is pleasurable to you, you have to be in your body. When I was in hustling and doing all the different jobs and going from the hospital to home to work, I was so disassociated to my body. I was suppressing my hunger because I had things to do. I would even like not even allow myself to go to the bathroom just to finish a task, and then I would go. Like I wasn't even just allowing my body and giving her what she needed. Like I wasn't prioritizing my body. I was just this to-do list. Like I was just hustling. Like I was just, no, So we're getting back into our body. We're getting back into feeling, into what does she need? What does my body need right now? Does she need some coconut water? Does she need some rest? Does she need a massage? Does she need a hug from a loved one? Like, what is my body craving right now? And just to allow yourself to acknowledge those desires and prioritize fun, prioritize pleasure for your body. Put that on your to-do list. Just like all the other things, pleasure should be on your to-do list. Things that bring you pleasure. And it doesn't have to be anything that's like super extravagant or super expensive. Although feminine energy is the energy that's more luxurious and more expensive, it could even be a beautiful bath and you light your candles. It could be a single rose that you buy for yourself every Sunday. These little things make the world of difference to your body, to your mind, and to your soul. So make sure that you are prioritizing pleasure, that you're getting deep into the body to learn what does she want, what does she need, what does she desire, do I need rest, and allowing yourself to rest. Allowing yourself to rest. Rest is profitable. From here on out, I want you to think of it that way. Your rest is profitable. Because once you wake up from your nap, and once you wake up from sleeping in, and once you wake up from that, you're so energized and rejuvenated and have even more energy to put into that thing instead of pushing through it through the night. Allow yourself to rest. And the last tip is to create space. What do I mean? I mean that in your schedule, instead of having things be like, from 8 to 9, I do this. From 9 to 10, I do this. From 10 to 12, I do this. Put some space in between these tasks for space, for rest, for filling up, for eating, for snacks, for flow, for energy, for resetting, so that you're not just going from one thing to another thing to another thing to another thing, but you're allowing space in between these tasks for life to flow, for life to happen, for you to bloom in a way. So I'll give you an example. Let's say that you get home at 5:30 and you want to do something else when you get home. I wouldn't schedule that something else until 6:30 or even 6 or even 7. So you're allowing space when you get home to reset. Maybe you want to take a shower. Maybe you want to change your clothes. Maybe you want to take off your makeup. Whatever it is, allow yourself space in between everything that you do, because life is beautiful in the in-between. So we're not just moving from one thing to the next. That's that hustle, that's that nervous system. We want our nervous system to be calm, to be poised, to be centered. And in order for that to happen, we have to allow ourselves grace and allow ourselves space in our life. So I hope that you found some value in this video. I love sharing my story, and I invite you to please come to my masterclass, From Burnout to Bliss. I go even deeper into what burnout is, what's causing burnout in your life, and all of the ways to prevent it. I go deeper. The mind, in the body, in the spirit, in your sexual energy, all of those things. So please come to my masterclass. The link is in the description box, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace and love.